Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers, joined my partner Ryan Walsh with Hard Money Bankers.
Yo, what's going on?
What's up, Ryan? We have the guest of the hour, an elite realtor in the Philadelphia area, Eric Gerchberg. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. So round two,
Yeah.
and we originally started the show just because the market was shifting like last March, and it has shifted. So
Yeah, definitely has.
Definitely has, and we've been doing a lot of follow-up interviews to see like where people are, what's going on. So talk to us. What's happened since the last time you were on the show? What's the market doing?
Oh man, so a big slowdown in Q4 is kind of what we expected with rates going crazy. We figured that it was going to kick a lot of buyers out of the market and really have just the serious buyers, the people that need to move, just focus on buying. But then Fed slowed down the amounts of rate increases they were doing, how often they were doing them, and mortgage rates have started to drop a little bit, and we're starting to see buyers come out of the market again, out of the woodwork, and trying to dip their toe back in the market and see what they can do now.
Yeah, I'd say that's what we're seeing across the board. Everyone's saying they went away November, December, and since January, you get some buyers saying
it's been crazy. Yeah, crazy. We've been flush with buyers,
and why do you think that is, Eric? What happened between December and January?
So I think that sellers, for one, are starting to they're not there yet because they're always the last to catch on to where the market is. They're still thinking like it's a year ago and they can be as greedy as they want to with their pricing. So they're starting to be a little bit more realistic and lower their prices to market, or maybe just a little bit above market values. But the interest rates, I think, are the biggest factor for a lot of the buyers, just because they're realizing like, okay, I can actually afford a home. I'm not going to die on my monthly payments, and I can make this happen. Lenders have also been getting really creative with the 2-1 buy downs. And things products they've been putting out there to make it so that people can still afford a house.
Do you think this is like a sustainable thing, or do you think this is temporary? Like, what's your gut on that?
I mean, I think it's a temporary fix. Sustainable would definitely be we have more inventory and interest rates are below 5. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely room for improvement.
Well, I mean, let me ask you, because I know you're in the investor world and, kind of your first time home buyer, you cover the gamut. So
Yeah.
Is this applying to all areas of real estate right now, or just certain areas of it?
Pretty much all of it. Yeah. Just because, I mean, I was just reading an economic report yesterday. Builder sentiments are still low, so investors are cognizant of that. But like I said, buyers are coming out of the woodwork just because they can afford more. And totally lost my train of thought. But yeah.
No, yeah, I was just asking because, like, I mean, depending on if you're in the suburbs, the city, an investor, a home buyer, it's just we're just getting like different kind of like good here, bad there kind of thing.
So investors, they're starting to buy again, but like definitely not at the rates that they were before. Mortgage rates are starting to be more palatable for them, and they realize that they can refinance if they ever do drop below again. But yeah, I mean, it's still also just hyper local, where we're seeing these things. It's starting to be easier in the city. People are being more affordable. Our houses are becoming more affordable. About in the suburbs, it's still cutthroat. It's kind of nuts.
Yep.
What do you think is going to solve the inventory issue? Because it's still weird that that's an issue. It shouldn't be an issue. It doesn't make sense that it's an issue, but it is. So what do you think resolves that?
That's a very loaded question. One thing I think is it's also tough because 2023 is really when we're starting to see new construction houses that have the new tax abatement structure applied to them. And I know that since 2021, if you look at how many permits were pulled for new construction, it was through the roof because everybody was trying to get their projects approved before the tax abatement structure shifted. And this year, or 2022, it's record low for how many permits were pulled. So I think that if they if the city does something to make it so builders feel more confident building in the city, that would definitely help inventory. And the other thing would be just interest rates coming down to, I mean, I know we're not going to see 2s and 3s anymore, but if we can see anything in the 4s, we'll have developers starting to build, single family homes or condos as opposed to apartment complexes just to rent out and then have that as their income.
You think this mayor election for mayor coming up is going to be crucial in terms of that tax abatement?
Yeah, I do. There's some very, very, I mean, how many people are running right now? Like 15? There's like a super wide range of people right now. They're going from, we need to abolish the tax abatement. We need to do everything to curb gentrification without really knowing what gentrification is. And then we have other people like Alan Dom, who knows business and real estate and try to have that as, his mindset while he helps the city grow and become stronger. So, yeah,
it's an interesting
election
because it's not, I mean, so most of them are going to have to, for the average person, most of them are going to have to run on the crime factor, right? Like that's the big thing in Philly. Everybody just wants to hear about the crime. Exactly. But from the business perspective, you also have to have somebody that probably pulls the two of them together because one leads to the other, right? Lower the crime, you're going to have, it's going to help the building and so forth. So it kind of like leans on each other, but you're not going to really, what I've noticed is they tend to take individual policies. So one might be like, okay, I'm going to be heavy on crime and not going to really do anything with the business. And one might be heavy on business, not do anything, but I don't know. I don't know where this goes, but it's a pivotal election, I think, to set Philadelphia up at least for like a 10-year run on one direction or the other.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I've been in Philly a long time, over half my life. I moved here, 20 or so years ago, and it was a scary, scary place back then. And the murder numbers and everything like that, since we're talking about crime, were at the same levels that they were when I first moved to the city. And it's scary for people that are wanting to raise a family here. So of course that's going to be forefront in their mind. But once, who was it? I think it was Mayor Nutter that came in. He focused on growing businesses that help reduce crime and everything like that. So like you said, it's a chain effect, a chain reaction that's going to need to take place. But just focusing on one issue is not going to fix anything. It's just going to cause more attention to it.
Sometimes I wonder if politicians, when they get in, if it's just like, all right, I'm going to take a ride on this cycle and then I'm going to look like the hero and hoist the trophy up when it's done. Because I'm not saying Mayor Nutter did or didn't do a good job, but like he also came into an amazing bull run that just, you just roll with it. And then, our mayor now threw his hands up and said, I'm out. I don't know what to do, right? He's in over his head. But we also just went through COVID, which destroyed, businesses and so forth. So you're like, is it just like a figurehead that then hoists the trophy at the end and says, I won or I lost? Or are they going to have that much effect on the city? Like, do they have that much effect where they can really affect the cycle? Because let's face it, if you dropped interest rates, like you said, if you dropped interest rates like 2 or 3% again for some reason, whoever's on that train is just running that one to victory, right? Because it's just the city would explode. Or if you do something simple like the tax abatement and extend that for another 10 years, all of a sudden everything just takes care of itself, Yeah. So it makes me always wonder with the political end of it, if it's like really being steered or it's just part of the cycle. I don't know. Like you said, it was Mayor Nutter. You were here 20 years ago. Yeah. We went through the cycle and now we're at the bottom.
Everything changed. Right? Yeah. So I'm starting to feel like maybe crime and the city is cyclical like the markets. So who knows? It's a study.
I think what's interesting on all this is because I get what you're saying. Like, how much control does a politician actually have versus just it's the cycle of life, if you will. But I think what's so different right now, and for anybody in real estate, whether you've been here for 20 years or you just started, the volatility has never been like this before. Meaning, you'll go through a change over 4 to 5, 6 years of a market, and then it starts tearing the other way. But in the last 3 years, we went through all sorts of different kinds of markets, and I think people just want to see stability. Whatever it is at this point, whether it's down, up, same, whatever. They just want it to be consistent so they can make plans. Maybe that's what the buyers coming out of the woodwork are feeling. That maybe
I mean, once they're starting to see the rates come to something more palatable, like you said, they they like stability, they like something predictable, they like consistency, and that's ultimately with investors also that just makes them feel more confident in putting their money into a market of any kind.
Yeah, so I mean, I do wonder if like a new mayor could shake that up or help it or not. I don't know. It's weird how everything. I mean, back when we were saying like when COVID happened, the whole world is oddly connected right now. Like whatever's going on in Russia, whatever's going on in China is somehow impacting real estate in the East Coast, right? Like what? But that's the day and age I guess we're in right now, right?
Yeah, seriously, it's pretty nuts, and everybody has the information at their fingertips. So
yeah,
like what did they say, that one book, the world is flat, and it really is right now. So everything's connected, everybody's tied into everybody else in a way that it's never been done before, which is kind of crazy.
It's exciting and terrifying at the same time, right?
It really is. Yeah.
What do you think the next 6 months brings in? Do you think we're kind of like where we are now for the next 6 months and not much could change, or do you think more volatility?
Yeah, I'm kind of predicting that everything's going to kind of plateau. There's not going to be a lot of ups and downs. I think that sellers are going to start to realize where the market is and come in at realistic prices, or continue to do price reductions to meet the market. But I don't see, especially in Center City, Philly, looking at historical charts at every crash that's ever happened, not to say that we're doing that because I know that's a hot word. Philly somehow has a way of weathering it and just kind of have like a steady increase. So I don't think that home values are going to drop below where they were a year ago, but I think maybe they'll just increase maybe like 4 or 5% over this year. It's instead of the 16 to 20% they did over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing that I've ever seen since I've been in the business was the when I remember saying to Ryan and my other partners when we were on the phone one time, I was like, is anybody else seeing like 20% increases in like 1 year? I'm like, is this not a crazy red flag? It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah. It was like, in some areas it was more. And I really feel like that from like 2021 to 2022, that run was fake. I feel like what's going to have to happen is like prices are going to have to come back to where like 2019 was at the very least, 2020 pre-printing money, because it just got nuts.
I think we're pretty much there.
Yeah, I mean, prices have definitely come down, but yeah, I mean, to meet 2019, I think we definitely have to go down some more.
Right. Right. Yeah. The inventory thing it's almost like everyone's waiting for a unknown variable to come in and decide, like, are we just going to, is this just real estate for the next 5 years? Just
something has to give, though. You can't, this inventory thing does not make sense.
No, because before you used to always look at the supply and demand and just feel like, okay, this is where the market is, but it's such a weird place because none of those markers are really telling us anything that's accurate right now. So it's tough.
We're wondering what marker we're missing. We need something to fill that piece of the puzzle in because it's not there yet. Right. So what are you telling your buyers and sellers? What would you want to leave people with right now?
So for buyers, make sure that we are knowledgeable about the loan products that are available to them. Any kind of grant programs also has been a big thing I've been having a lot of buyers take advantage of. With sellers, consider offering concessions just to get people more interested in your property. And it's not just like, I'll give you $5,000 to upgrade this, but like I'll buy a point towards your loan or something like that. Or, an interesting thing, I was talking to somebody about VA loans and how they're in an interesting spot right now because those loans can be assumable. So somebody might be able to assume that loan and not have any mortgage insurance, while they live there, who might not even be a veteran. I'm not sure exactly how that would work, but it's interesting things, and people are getting creative, especially with how they can find money to make real estate work for them now.
Interesting. Yeah, I think creativity and skill sets are going to be valid here over the next year. I don't think
definitely skill sets. Yeah, I've been telling my team, for us, like we have to get back to basics. Get back to calling people, get back to, going to networking events because, real estate's just not going to fall in our lap anymore.
Actual real estate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the new atmosphere. Everybody that we've had on the show has said the same thing. So, which means if you're in this game right now to succeed, these are the steps you're taking. And I really, one thing we recommended, you said you on your team, if you're not on a team and you're new to this game, it really helps to have somebody who's been through a cycle and been around.
Yeah, at least at the very least a mentor, just somebody you can
yeah.
talk to and be like, what am I missing? What can I be doing more of or better?
Yeah, to tell how to weather the storm, how to be patient, how to get creative, how to reach out to that financing. So that stuff's more important than ever right now. So
yeah,
awesome having you again, Eric. We'll touch base again on a third round, and hopefully it'll just be like just smooth sailing from here for everybody.
Yeah, let's hope.
Who knows? So
we'll see.
All right,
we'll see. We'll do a third interview and we can kind of see where the market is then.
You got it, man. All right, take care.
All right, talk to you guys later.
Bye.